May we all stand up for a word of prayer. Father, Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the gathering here today and for the opportunity to be here. Lord, as we discuss, Lord, we pray that you be in our midst. We pray for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Father, Lord, we commit this afternoon into your hands, that you may be amidst us. Dear Lord, we pray that whatever we discuss, Lord, may be for the betterment of this corporation and for the country at large. We bless you, we glorify your name. We've prayed all this through Christ our Lord. Amen. You may take your seats.
Thank you very much for that word of prayer. Useful for people to talk. People say that one was the growth of the thumb, but most importantly, language, the development of language. So one of the reasons we're here is to talk so that we can understand each other. So before we start the actual proceedings, let's start by introducing ourselves so that we know who we are engaging. To break the ice, the name and the media house or whatever entity you represent. Let me start from here. Karim, please handle this process.
Thank you, MC. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Engineer James Maiteki is my name. I work as the Chief Manager, Sewerage Services in National Water and Sewerage Corporation. You're welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome to National Water. My name is Kukunda Annette. I'm a Senior Manager in Kampala Water, Central Business District.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dr. Nicholas Mwebesa. I work as Chief Manager in charge of billing and data management. You are most welcome.
Mohamed Luogo from Uganda Electricity Transmission Company Limited.
Engineer Mahmoud Lutaya. I'm the General Manager for National Water Kampala Water.
I'm Engineer Kateba Francis, Chief Manager Water Supply Kampala Water.
Good afternoon. My name is Alan Sempebwa. I'm a Senior Communications Officer at the Ministry of Works and Transport.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shiland Huchide. I am the Principal Public Relations Officer at National Medical Stores, a government agency that buys, stores, and distributes medicines to government health facilities. I'm happy to be here. For free. They don't buy those medicines.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bernadette Ndema, and I'm the Communication Specialist in the Office of the President, Ministry of Kampala Capital City and Metropolitan Affairs on the Greater Kampala Metropolitan Area Urban Development Program. Thank you. Nigeria, those ends.
Thank you. Good afternoon, our hosts and colleagues from the media. My name is Dennis Navende. I'm a Principal Communications Officer at the Uganda Registration Services Bureau. Thank you for hosting us.
Hi, my name is Anthony Natif. I'm the team lead at Public Square. We are a think tank and quasi-civil society organization. We just deal with anti-corruption and stuff like that. We're largely private players interested in the public good.
Good afternoon, everyone. The deputy team lead at Public Square. My name is Dicta Asimwe. I suppose most of the journalists know me. I've previously worked in the media.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Christian Samuel Katwesije. I work with Watchdog Uganda.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Emi Omongin. I'm the team lead at Campus B, a news platform for the youth in Uganda. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Stephen Barievuga. I'm a senior communications officer at the Uganda Registration Services Bureau.
Thank you very much. My name is Gaius Mhame. I work with Chimp Reports. Glad to see you all.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brian Kwesiga, famously known as Karate. I am from UG Mirror, an online news platform. Thank you. Glad to be here.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Johnson Msings from Red Pepper.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kamagu. I work with Top Radio.
Good afternoon. I'm Abucha Semakula Omunene. I work with the Super FM. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good afternoon. I'm called Dembe Zaina. I work with Akabozi Kobiri and Radio 1.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Godfrey Kalunji. I'm the Chief Manager Human Resources at National Water, Kampala Water.
Good afternoon. My name is Alex Atwaire. I run PML Daily and the KampalaReport.com, but I'm now representing the Uganda Editors Guild.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kefas Mayumba. I work with Nation Media Group, Spark TV.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Narumo Irene. I'm a news anchor at NBS.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sise Gubala Nachigude from New Vision, Bukedol Papula.
Good afternoon. I'm Arthur Msingzi. I work with GCIC under State House.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Narunkuma Shakira. I work with the Radio Bilal.
Good afternoon. I don't know why the Christians don't start with praise God. Praise God. My name is Elizabeth Kabibi. I work as a senior communications officer at GCIC.
Waida Maika is my name. I work at GCIC.
Good afternoon once again. Evelyn Mukajusi. I work with National Water as the branch manager, Urban Propua branch, a branch serving the people in informal settlements of Kampala. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Alex Mwenda, I work National Water, Kampala Water, Network Manager, Eastern Zone.
Good afternoon, all. I'm Engineer Brenda Kovgabe. I work with National Water as a Network Manager in the Central Zone.
Good afternoon, team. My name is Francis Omara. I work as a Network Manager in Central Business District, Kampala Water.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Enos Malambala. I am the Senior Manager, Quality Assurance, Kampala Water.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Engineer Herbert Mujuni, Senior Manager, Infrastructure Planning and Development, and also the Project Manager of the Kampala Water Extensions Project, which you've been touring. You're all welcome.
Shiba Bamwine is my Senior Manager handling our portfolio. That's the operations, outside the Kampala Water Service area.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. My name is Vivian Neumbe, and I am the Senior Manager, Public Relations at Kampala, your host. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Choksha Rachel, a social media influencer.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kovgabe Fiona. I'm a digital marketer.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Priscilla Hassanat. I'm a content creator and a digital marketer.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Eddie Pages. I'm a digital influencer, and I work with EP Marketing Agency as their digital lead.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Wesigwa David from Galaxy TV.
Good afternoon, everybody. Paul Chu is my name. I work with the New Vision.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Hamala Edgar. I am a marathon runner and a content creator.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is B-Wall. I work with 933 KFM. I do the Mighty Breakfast. I'm also here as an advocate for timely, responsible, and accountable service delivery.
Good afternoon, everyone. Mwami Laban, influencer. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kathy, and I'm a social media influencer.
Good afternoon. I'm Jeff Kabagambe, National Water, Kampala Water.
Good afternoon. I'm David Gaunt. I'm the head of the supervision for the P2B project, which you visited this morning.
Praise God. I'm Moses Nandgobe, Senior Manager, Network, Kampala Water.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Kanya Emmanuel is my name, Senior Manager in charge of Central Zone, Kampala Water.
Good afternoon. I'm Processor Havwe, Network Manager, Western Zone.
Good afternoon. I'm Michael Wakabi. I work for 256 Business News.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alan Brian Senyonga. I am a consumer of national water products.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bernard Samuel. I'm a concerned citizen and uninformed one.
Rogers Atkunda. I'm a journalist with soft power. Sorry, I'm too soft to stand.
Hi, everyone. My name is Noah. I work with Power Times News.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jude Mugabe. I'm a chronic water user and supporter of National Water Initiatives Online.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Janet Mutas. I'm happy to be here.
My name is Deo Tim, GCIC.
Good afternoon. I'm Ngabo Amon. I work with UBC TV. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Sudat Kaye from UBC TV.
Good afternoon. My name is Javira Sebwami. I work with the PML Daily.
Good afternoon. I'm called Stephen Muneza. I'm in between jobs.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alan Mwesiga, NWSC Digital Media. You're most welcome.
Good afternoon. Raymond Musinguzi, National Water.
Good afternoon. Chimbukwe Mark, Media Team, National Water.
Good afternoon. My name is Akelo Rita. I work with National Water.
Good afternoon. Faith Ann Mpande, National Water.
Good afternoon. Danielle Oriri, National Water.
Hi. Good afternoon. My name is Alan Chekwech from Nation Media Group.
Thank you very much, Krim, for handling the introductions. Now we know each other. So this morning you went to the field and saw some of the infrastructure that is being deployed to solve the water problems that we have in Kampala. There is a short video to help you recap where you passed today, but also for the people who are not able to go to the field to see some of the things that are happening to deliver water for all in Kampala Metropolitan. Thank you very much. Okay, you can play the video. Thank you very much. That is the extent of the works that are being undertaken to resolve some of the issues we have with intermittent water supply. Now, the person who has the complete story of where we are, what we are doing to deliver these solutions, and the road to the future is the General Manager, Kampala Water, Engineer Mahmoud Lutaya. He will give us his presentation now. Fisher, it's...
So, good afternoon, all our guests. First of all, I want to really appreciate your honoring our invitation, and hope by end of today we'll be able to interact and have a very clear appreciation of what is happening in Kampala and also in National as far as water and sewage services are concerned. So I'm somehow going to take you through, walk through the journey. Kampala, that photo you see is for the plant in Gaba. You call it Gaba 1. It was constructed in 1930. And up to now it's still supplying our water. So in Kampala we have basically two major locations for our production. So we have Gaba, which has 3 plants. We call it Gaba 1, Gaba 2, Gaba 3. Then also now we have the Katusi system, which you've seen. And the system started all the way back in 1930, and that's why when you see some of the infrastructure in the city, some of it dates as far back as then, when the population was between 30,000 and 50,000. And as we speak right now, the situation is totally different. So Kampala has experienced tremendous growth, especially in the last 20 years. We're talking about Kampala service area, we're talking about Kampala district or city, then parts of Mukono and parts of Wakiso. So our population we're serving in Kampala Water Metropolitan is around 5 million people. And there's been tremendous growth as far as demand is concerned. So that's the Katosi plant. And I think the images also speak to that. It has a capacity right now. We're able to produce around 160,000 cubic meters per day. That is 160 million liters per day. So when you combine the capacity of Katosi and Gaba, we have a capacity in Kampala to do around 390,000 cubic meters per day. That is 390 million liters per day. That's the capacity we have. And the demand is estimated to be around 300 million liters. So the Katosi plant was basically, would say, the game changer, and we always talked about it. I think if you recall, before 2021, the challenges we're going through, every time we went on TV, we always talked about Katosi, and we said that once Katosi is on board, then the water supply issues of the city will be sorted. And Katosi came on board around July 2021, and again, you see the kind of changes that we've experienced in Kampala. We try to pick some images just to give us a recollection how big the city has changed. The first image, it might not be very clear, picks the a Google Map image of Kampala in 1986, how it looked like. After 20 years, in 2006, how Kampala has changed. But most importantly, you see how it is. So for us, as far as our service is concerned, it's always a moving target. You know, we keep following where people are developing. So that's how challenging it is. But I think the summary of this is that a lot has changed in Kampala, and there's no place to demonstrate this than Chanja. So 2004, that's how Chanja looked. And 2026, that's how Chanja looks right now. So that's the kind of appreciation we need to have, how our city has grown. And all this means that we have to keep pace with the increase in demand for the services, which the corporation is making all efforts to do. I've also tried to pick some bit of statistics that look at the transformation in the last 21 years as far as Kampala is concerned in terms of water services. The population has doubled, but I think we can also say our services as National Water have moved a bit faster. The production capacity in 2005 we're doing around 117 cubic meters, but that's what we're able to do. Like I said, right now we're able to do 390. So there's been almost triple, more than triple our capacity. The connections have more or less increased by 7-fold. The number of customers we used to have around, the figures were basically around 75,000. Now we're having almost 500,000 customers. So again, just shows you how the city has grown, but also how the corporation has made the effort to keep up with the pace. The network length, the pipe you see, have also almost increased by 4-folds. And the business itself, I think 20 years ago, Kampala were able to build around 3.8 billion. Right now, we're doing 34 billion as Kampala and be able to collect all of this. So there's been significant growth, both in terms of the city, but also in terms of the efforts government has made to make sure that the residents of Kampala are able to receive services. So that image down there shows you where we are right now. One thing to observe, again, maybe on the side of sanitation, sewage services, it has not kept pace, because as water services have really grown, we have, for very good reasons, you find that the sewage services have not kept at the same pace. So we have non-sewer sanitation remaining a very, very important aspect of our services. As far as National Water is concerned, we tried, in terms of organization, organize Kampala Metropolitan into 4 zones. So again, I think you had some of the introductions. We have what we call the Kampala Eastern Zone. That takes care part of Mukono. Then we have what we call Kampala West, the Western Zone. Then we have the Central Zone, and then there's what we call CBD. So all these have senior managers for effective management, and we have a total of around 30 branches. There are around 31 branches across Kampala and sub-branches. All this is aimed at to increase outreach to our customers. But again, for effective management, we created what we call territories. We have a total of around 216 territories across Kampala. It means that each territory has a territorial leader that allows us to effectively and quickly respond to customer complaints. So again, this is how we try to organize ourselves to see that we are able to manage this very huge animal effectively, but most importantly, continue serving our customers. So this again gives you a picture of some of the critical installations we have within the Kampala. We always talk about the different reservoirs, just for you to appreciate that from Gaba, the 3 plants we talked about, we have some primary reservoirs. Water is pumped, we get it from the lake, we treat it, then we pump it to the highest point. I think you saw in the video where they're constructing the Kanyanya tank. The idea is able to pump it to the highest point, then supposed to gravitate, move by gravity so that it reaches most parts of the city. So right now we have some major tanks in our system. We have the Muyenga tank. I think you see some of them with their capacity. But most importantly, this shows you, this is basically looking at largely the Gaba system. Now on the Katosi side, we have equally similar size of reservoirs. As I speak right now, we have, in terms of storage capacity, a total of 140,000 cubic meters. That is 140 million liters of storage capacity within our system. Now, with the challenges we've had to complement our main plants with some bit of mini systems in form of boreholes. Right now, we have a total of 15 boreholes that we have as short-term interventions as we do the big project. So again, just to appreciate that for water to reach Matuga, it comes basically from Muyenga. So if you have a problem in Muyenga, it means that the people in Matuga, people in Wakiso are going to be affected. When you have and a power interruption of 2 hours, and the system dries out, it takes you almost 3 days to stabilize. So these are some of the hydrological challenges you have, especially if you're managing a system like this. Again, in terms of the expanse of our network, we're able to appreciate on the major roads, where do we stop? When you take the Mkono Road, our system goes as far as Namaojoro is concerned. When you take the, on the side of Bombo, we go to Matuga. When you go to Wakiso, we reach Kachiri. When you're going to Buloba, we are almost in Bujuko there. Then on Masaka Road, we reached Nsanji Maya. That's how far we're going. And again, you realize even all those places, the city keeps growing. So for us, that's why we always say that our service is always a moving target. So today we're in Maya, then we'll have to reach all the other places that need our services, especially where people are not served. Again, this is again to appreciate our system, but also to observe that you find that most of the customers in the central part of the city or service area have reliable supply. The biggest challenge we have are mainly customers in the western part of Kampala. We talk about the areas of Matuga, Nansana, a bit of Kawempe, definitely Wakiso, Buloba, Chengira, Budo. Those are areas where we're having challenges, and I will again highlight a bit more what we are doing and what could be the reason. Now, in terms of water supply, because I think it's something that come up, that how come people don't have water. Now, this is something that we monitor more or less on a regular basis. Now, these maps presents the water supply status or liability within our system. The first image shows the water supply situation in 2013, how it was. You're able to look at the coverage of our service area then, but also how many places were able to get water then reliably. And then the second image shows you the situation before Katosi came on board. That was around March 2021. And the last image, the third one, shows you the situation right now after Katosi. So you see a very huge change from where we were 2013, 2021, and the impact Katosi has had as far as water supply is concerned. But also it shows you the areas where we have very significant challenges. And those are the areas largely in the western part of Kampala. And those are the areas where this project you've seen and some of you have visited is coming in to address this very, very big challenge. This is again a similar image of 2013, but most importantly also where we are right now. And we believe, or we are committing, that once this project is done, you're going to see all those maps in dark blue. That's what is basically going to happen. Now, as far as we don't want to talk about just water alone, I think it's important that also we talk about the sewerage services. Like I mentioned earlier, we made a lot of significant progress on the side of water, but also a lot of effort has also been made in make sure that we are able to collect and also treat all the waste that is generated from within the city. Now we have 4 major waste water treatment facilities. We have the Lubiji, and I think you see it on the bypass. Then we have the Nalukolongo, which is again our biggest. And then we have Chinawataka, we have the Nalukolongo, sorry, then this is Nachivuo. And then, so those are the major ones, and also we have the smaller ones, the ponds that are in Nalia and in Tinda. And these are different catchment areas for each of those systems. So this is the Lubiji one, and it has a capacity to treat almost 4,500 meters per day. But it don't just treat waste, but also we generate briquettes and also manure that we're able to sell and give for as fertilizers. Then this is the big one, the Nachivo wastewater treatment plant, where we're able to treat close to 45,000 cubic meters per day, but also we are generating power. So almost 80% of the power that is used at the plant is generated from waste. And again, the idea right now is that with all these plants, as a corporation, we have the ability to treat at least whatever is collected from the city. Remember that the biggest part of it is coming from on-site or non-sewer sanitation. So a number of projects have been undertaken within the city in the last almost 20 years plus. And this is just to highlight some of these projects. We talked about the Katosi project, which we've seen in terms of the water treatment plant, and also had almost 50 kilometers of transmission main and the Sumba reservoirs. It was one of the game changers for our supply within the city. Then also it came with a project that was aimed at improving the infrastructure, that also led to the construction of the Nalukolongo wastewater fecal sludge treatment facility, and also it started a project that was supposed to benefit the urban poor, where we are installing close to 2,300 prepaid meters in the informal settlements, and I'll be able to share more information on that. We've also did some bit of refurbishment of our Gawa wastewater treatment plus facility to increase its capacity right now to close to 240,000. So that's another thing that we did. We also had, last 2 years ago, we had a very big challenge. I think at one point you could have experienced with the city, where we had a number of challenges with our pumps in Gaba. So we made deliberate efforts to basically replace most of the old pumps. And I can speak right now, we have very new pumps in Gaba. That's why we are able to sustain the city as we wait for the project that is taking place. We did a number of projects to evacuate the water from Nagulu, where it is, so that we supply most of the areas that didn't have then. But also, as we wait for the project, we've undertaken quite a number of interventions, basically to address places that have intermittent water supply. And I think you've noticed we've done a number of mini systems in terms of boreholes in some of the places like Lutete, like Kazi, so Kazi, Lutete. We're doing some in Kawanda as well. So all these are being done. Purpose is to make sure that we have short-term interventions as the bigger project is complete. On the side of sewage, we've also done a lot. On top of the Nachivo wastewater treatment facility, we talked about the Lubijiwan, Chinawataka, the Chirudu. At one point we had a very big problem of waste from the hospital. So we're able to do a packaged plant, and I think you can see it in the photo, that has basically addressed the waste challenges that were in Chirudu there. And then also there's been a lot of work in terms of upgrading the sewers within the city, and did a number of extensions to places like Tinda, Nagulu. So again, on the side of sewage services, quite a number of projects have been done. Now, the number of projects that are ongoing right now, the ones I've highlighted have been complete. Now, these are the ones that are ongoing. We talked about the package 2B. That is the video that has been played. It involves laying almost close to 70 kilometers of the pipe you saw, and also putting some big reservoirs like the one of Kanyanya, Kabulengwa, and so some booster stations. So this project started last year, and we expect it to be completed August next year. There's another project, places like Mbarara, especially the industrial park, they've been having a few challenges. We're completing a project, I think, this month that will address the water supply challenges there. You realize the city is growing both in terms of radius but also upwards, especially in the CBD. So places like Kororo are completely changing, and means that we have to upgrade the small pipes that we had. And right now we're doing a project in Kororo to make sure that the smaller pipes are upgraded, so that we're able to provide labor supply in those places. Like I said, as we wait for the other project, again, we have planned short-term programs, especially in areas that have intermittent water supply challenges. Again, just a bit of detail on this particular project, which you visited. It was signed in September 2024. It started effective February last year, 2025. It's supposed to be for around 900 days, and it's expected to be complete in August next year. But before it's complete, there are sectional commissions we're going to have. That blue line is picking water from around Namugongo, supposed to take it all the way to around Kasangati. We expect that section to be complete by December, and January to be commissioned. So again, even before August, some sections of this project to be complete. And the red line shows you the pipes that are being laid, the routes that they're taking as they lay those lines. So close to a total of almost 70 kilometers. And I've realized the why it has delayed sometimes is the corridors where the pipes are being laid. It's highly, highly congested. It has been a very, very big challenge as far as the project is concerned. Again, this image just gives you another appreciation of the impact the new project is having. In the red images basically represent the new project, where the reservoir is going to be and the impact is going to have. You see, it's purposely targeting the areas that right now we're saying are water stressed. And that's why we're very confident and very sure that once this project is done, all those areas that are right now challenged will have no more challenges as far as water supply is concerned. Again, these are just a bit of statistics in terms of the current status of that project, how many kilometers have been laid, what is expected to be laid. But what can assure you, most of the pipes we need, especially for the first phase, have been delivered and works ongoing, like you realized in the field. And I would say that the project is on track to completion in line with what was planned. So there are other planned projects, because you can realize those are ongoing, but again, the city is growing very, very fast. So it means that there are other projects we have in place to make sure that we keep pace with the growth that we're experiencing within our city. There's a project to address the areas that have intermittent supply, the areas that within the CBD where we have to upgrade our pipe work. Those are planned to be undertaken. We want to take water to Wambo. Already plans have been made to do that. Now, we talked a lot about the east and the west, but so there's a part of the south, part of Kampala. We have a project where we're going to take more water from Gaba and put a big tank around Zinanumbu to address that area of Chigo, Lubowa, that is really growing at a very fast rate. So that project is also underway. Then also we have a project, this is a bit in Entebbe. It's addressing some of the challenges around Kajansi, Kauku, the Kauku project, which is already hopefully going to start this year as well. And also the Katosi was designed to have a total production capacity around 240. Right now it's able to do 160. So there's an extension to add on the additional 80,000, which is also going to start. So once that comes on board, already we'll have capacity close to around 480,000 cubic meters. And on top of that, there's another planned project, Wakiso West, again trying to address the areas of, again, Kajansi, Wakiso, Mpigi, as far as the growth is concerned. So this will have also an expected projection of around 200,000 cubic meters per day, and it's also going to be done in phases. So, and then on the side of Surrey as well, there's a project we already started for Luzira catchment area. We're trying to address the challenges that are being experienced with the prisons. That is also going to start. And also there's a project as the Kampala sanitation project that's supposed to upgrade especially the small pipes within the city, but also target particular areas as far as sewage and sanitation services are concerned. I'll talk a bit about the tariff, because I just don't want to talk about the projects, but also reflect a bit about the tariff, because the tourist features as one of the issues of interest. How much is the cost of water? Why is the water very expensive? Is some of the things that always feature. So this is the tariff structure for our services. Basically, we have 7 bands. So we have the proper tariff, but basically that targets people in the formal settlements, and it shows you the rate per cubic meter. A cubic meter is basically 1,000 liters. Those are 50 20-liter jerrycans. Yeah. So a liter, a unit is 1,000 liters. Those are basically 50 20-liter jerrycans. So the PSP tariff is basically targeting Mutua Wansi, and those are the small taps you see. So if you pick water from that tap, National Water charges you only 1,060 per unit. That is 25 shillings per jerrycan. And the challenge we always have is that though the tariff is that, we always have those operators that end up charging a higher tariff. Now, that's where the introduction of the prepaid meters has been very, very important for us. That on a prepaid meter, every household has a token, and they're able to load that their money on the token, and once they use the token, then they're able to draw that water for only 25 shillings for a 20-litre jerrycan. Then that tariff structure is for the domestic ones, the residentials for most of our customers, and that one again, the unit is, as you see it on the, it's around now it's 4,430 shillings per unit. So for a jerrycan is around 105 shillings. Then we have the institution customers, also the tariff is reflected on that. And then we have the commercial, those that consume below 1,000 cubic meters, the tariff is also reflected there. Then we have those that consume more than 1,000, they're able to pay 5,318 per cubic meter. The rate there is the cost for a 20-litre jerrycan. Then the last one, industrial, the ones that consume less than 1,000, they basically pay the commercial tariff. But government was very intentional, especially in making sure that the industries remain competitive. So you have an industrial tariff, which is a bit lower. That is 2,500 for all industries that consume more than 1,000 cubic meters per month. So they're able to, they are billed on the industrial tariff, which is more affordable for them. So it's around 59 shillings per 20-litre jerrycan. When it comes to storage services, again, so we have a block tariff. If storage services is charged based on how much you consume. If you're connected to sewer and if you're connected to sewer and you're domestic, so basically charge 75 shillings of your water tariff. And if it's commercial, then definitely it's 100 shillings. So ProPua remains a very, very important aspect of our services, especially customers in the formal settlements. We've tried to map them. We have a very aggressive ProPua policy and strategy that targets those communities and starts with us understanding where these people are. And also over time we realize that they're also a moving target. Because at one point you remember Kisenyi was the center for the urban poor. Right now when you go there you find that it has completely changed and they moved. So we also keep moving with them. And also we've tried to create a dedicated branch. And I think one of my staff introduced herself as the manager for urban poor, so that because we know that they have special needs, it means that they have special attention, they get special attention from us. Then on top of that, there's very strong engagement on their side, and also we try to identify the different technologies that will be able to, that can allow us serve them better. So the number of activities that we do as far as the urban poor is concerned. I want to recognize the arrival of our dear MD. MD, you're welcome. So with the situations we have, we always monitor how our customers feel about our services. We always conduct customer satisfaction surveys, and the images give you the feedback whether customers are satisfied with our services. So the yellow version represents Kampala. So you would say customers in Kampala are more satisfied than the customers across what? But again, we're able to identify areas where we still need to do a lot of work. Now what is very interesting is that our survey shows that still where we have low levels of satisfaction corresponds to areas where we still have water supply challenges. That's why we always try to make efforts to make sure that those particular areas are given special attention, and we are very confident that once this project is complete, then you're going to see a very different shift even in the satisfaction levels of our customers. We have quite a number of challenges, like any institution, especially when it comes to our services. You see the city is growing at a very fast rate. The level of planning is not that very good. So we always, like I mentioned earlier, you saw the case of Chanja. So we have to keep pace with this very streaming growth in terms of the population, but also in terms of the areas we serve. So this poses it's an opportunity, but also comes in as a very big challenge. Then also there's unevenness in development. Development happening differently. What you see there is the image of Marriott, which has come up, and you see the whole of Kololo is changing. where you used to have a bungalow, then you end up with 50 units. This means that the pipe that used to serve a bungalow can no longer serve 50 units. So that's why you're going to see a lot of also upgrade of our infrastructure even within the city. So these are some of the challenges we have. Climate change that presents extreme weather conditions. Right now we're in the peak dry spell, and some of the challenges we're experiencing might not necessarily be only due to the system's constraints we have, but also the fact that we are in the dry spell. It means that the system is largely what? There's high demand. That basically means that we have to keep up with all those challenges. We have infrastructure and financing gaps that we're trying to deal with as an corporation. Then also we have some bit of operation challenges that we have. People vandalize our infrastructure. So one of those images is, so we woke up one day and someone had carried the pipe that supplies a certain community, and then you have to deal with that. We still have people stealing water, illegal service, illegal connections. It's happening a lot. We're experiencing a very big challenge of meter theft of recent, and we're working closely with the security agencies, and we had so many arrests that have taken place. But again, this requires a lot of engagement with the community. Kampala is being renewed. There's a lot of roadworks taking place. Now those roadworks come as a very good thing for the city, but as far as our operations is concerned, we experience a number of challenges, and we're working very closely with the Kampala City Authority and Ministry of Works to make sure that the impact on services is minimized, but definitely it's also one of the challenges we have. And of recent, the power supply situation is a huge pain for us. Like I mentioned, any 2-hour outage on one of our plants requires almost a full day for the system to stabilize. And these are things that we are dealing with, especially we have almost close to 40 boosters within our supply area. And any booster off, even if we run it on generator, there's a limit to which we can operate it on generators. But again, these are challenges, and we're working very closely with UEDCL to see how we can deal with these challenges. So 21 years has been a period of growth in all aspects, and I think you see the figures again. But when we look at what the next frontier, we're going to focus a lot on efficiency. How do we make sure that whatever we produce reaches our customers? There's going to be a lot of focus on reliability, and we are very sure that once this project, which we are doing and the ones we are doing are complete, we'll be able to guarantee reliable supply. There's a very significant effort on sewerage and sanitation that the corporation is putting a lot on place. We try to make sure that our systems are resilient to climate change, to any shocks that can come. And I think we are proud to say that we are one of those resilient entities. Even during COVID, we were able to keep afloat. And then most importantly, we're in a digital era. So we need to see how we can leverage technology and create a very intelligent utility. I want to thank you for listening, and be happy to interact more. And if you have any questions, be able to respond to them. Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer Mahmoud, for unpacking the things that are happening in Kampala Water. We know the challenges, we know the solutions, we've told you what we are doing, and we've also given you the road ahead. The road ahead. So I want to thank you. Some of you are here as early as 7:30. You went to the field, you saw what we are doing there. So now you have a very good idea of the complex work of delivering water services to people. I'd like to take this opportunity to invite the MD to come and address you. Dr. Engineer Silva Mjisha, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Sam. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm sorry I'm coming in late. But I was following what Mahmoud was presenting because they tried to digitalize everything. What I did was to give you my notes. I've grown a bit old now. I'm not very good in PowerPoint. And I believe it is not the way to go now, PowerPoint. The way to go is to try to talk a little bit off cuff and let people understand. So I circulated the script for you to see the things I'm going to talk about. And when I finish, I think Engineer Mayo will talk to you about the other projects in the other areas. Engineer Mayo, you found when Mahmoud had just presented, so he did enough for Kampala. So you better hear your presentation for other places. So my points are about the bigger picture, where we have come in the last 1 decade, where we are now, and where we want to be in the next, up to 2030, if we project for 2030. Then I will try to discuss with you our cost efficiency and growth model, again at a very big picture. And then I'm sure all of you would want me to highlight a little bit of what has been going on in the social media. So I will also, not as the most important point, but also highlight a few things there. Now, where have we come from in the last 1 decade? In the last 1 decade, we've grown the connections from 300,000. We are now talking of 1,060,000 connections. And by 2030, we hope to have reached 1.25 million connections. The infrastructure, this is a measure of your outreach to communities. We've increased the length of the main pipes. This has nothing to do with the service pipes. From about 6,000 kilometers to 25,000 kilometers, and in the next 5 years, we hope to reach 30,000 kilometers. The financial performance, this measures the bankability or the creditworthiness of a utility. The surplus before depreciation has increased from 40 billion to 197 billion. This is a figure which we have captured, but it is yet to be confirmed by ongoing external audit. There's an ongoing external audit which should be completed in the next 1 or 2 months. Just to note, last year it was about 162 billion. Now it is 197 billion. But for those who are not good accountants like me, 197 billion surplus does not mean that we have it. This is accounting based on accrual basis, meaning that you capture income at the level of invoicing and you capture expenditure at the level of commitment. And so when you get the totality of income minus expenditure before depreciation, this is what you get, 197. Meaning that if somebody is not paying, of course it eats into this profit. The assets under management have grown from 580 billion. We are now talking of 5 trillion. And in the next 5 years, we want to grow this to 6.2 trillion. This is really a measure of business growth of any institution. And the footprint, the service footprint, we've grown from 23 towns. We are now in 290 towns. And this has led us to grow population served from 4.5 million to 22 million Ugandans now, and we hope to increase this to 25 million in the next 5 years. So massive growth. Of course, we've talked about supply reliability. They have told you what is happening in Kampala water. There's a lot that is happening in other areas as far as stabilizing water supply is concerned. If I remember very well, we are doing some work in Uganda to get water from Mukazi. There's a place called Mukazi. The other people, there's a word they add there, but I don't want to add it there. From Mukazi, about 19 kilometers, if you go to Mabono Parish and then you go to the hills, the water is now coming. And we are going to add about 2.5 million liters of water per day to Uganda because we are bringing a dedicated line. So that will solve that problem. The people who come from Shema municipality, you know there is an issue because the water for Shema municipality partly comes from Shuku Waterworks, and some of it comes from Chitagata, it goes to Bushenyi, then it comes. So it was not enough because the Shuku water treatment plant was not being optimally utilized. So right now there is an ongoing activity to rationalize that treatment plant so that we can have 24/7 water supply for Shema municipality. Mbarara, there is an issue in Bwizwera because there is a pipe from Ruharo going to Bwizwera, and very many people have tapped on it, including Las Vegas Hotel, including even, I think, Mburara. All those big premises have connected on it and reduced water supply. So we are now laying a dedicated 12-inch pipe from Ruharo, and we want to take water direct after Maironya, just there before Nyachara. So that water will increase, will transform water supply for Buzwera drastically. Kasese, there's also a water challenge, but we are getting water from the hill. The water for Kasese comes from Rwenzori. So we are getting it from there so that we can increase water supply. For Potro City, there's a water supply problem, especially during the dry season. But there is an ongoing project where His Excellency the President has even cleared loan financing from AFD. And we are now going into the detailed design stage, which will lead into a new waterworks for Fort Potro City to transform water supply for Fort Potro. Mbarara, of course, you know, we got water from Kagera. So there is no longer a problem of water supply in Mbarara, save for a few challenges which come because the project is still under defects liability period. Riantonde, there's a problem. I saw it on NBS. Is it yesterday in the morning? The problem with Riantonde is they get water from Kachera, the swamp, and the water is hard. But when you go about 4.5 kilometers, you go to the Rio Kachera Lake now. That is where we put a new plant that serves Churhura. So we want now to get water 4.5 kilometers and bypass the intake which is in the swamp and be able to abstract water that is not hard. And that will drastically transform water supply for Riantonde town and the district at large. Ruwengo, there's an ongoing project. Is Edmund here? What is the progress of Ruwengo water supply? I don't think you are aware, Johnson. So if Edmund was here, he would be aware. There's some work which is going on in Ruwengo to try to transform water supply for Ruwengo as well. Masaka, there's a new treatment plant coming from Bokakata. It has started. I think it is about 20% progress. So that should be able to increase or transform water supply for Masaka City. Zimbabwe, there's an issue because the ministry just completed a huge transmission water project and connected it to our system and caused a supply problem. So we are thinking of extending water supply by putting another modular line on the existing waterworks so that we can transform water supply for Zimbabwe. Hoima City has been having challenges of water supply. We have started constructing a new waterworks at River Kafu, and that is going to add about 2,000 cubic meters of water per day to Hoima City to make us ready for AFCON. But that is short term. There's a bigger project which is planned, including financing from AFD. On the side of national water, we want to get water from Masindi Port and serve Bweyare, Chiriandongo, Chigumba, Masindi, and also Hoima City. Those who know that area, they know that those are quite interconnected towns. Because currently, Chigumba and Chiriandongo, they are getting, and Bweyare, they are getting water from boreholes, and they are not sufficient. Lida has a water supply problem, but I think, Johnson, have we finished? We are doing testing. So we have added another line at Kachung, so that should be able to increase water supply for Lida and give us a headroom to wait for the bigger project whose detailed design is finished. And I think it is going to be, Johnson, it's going to be tendered out soon. Soroti, there was also a water supply problem, but we have just finished the project there, which is just being tested out. I think there were some issues with the defects which are being corrected. I think Bukedia, we are picking water from Angola, which is going to increase water in Bukedia. Mbare, the project is almost finished, so Mbare's problem is definitely sorted. Ajumani, the project is also complete. It's completed, so we should be able to. We have transformed water supply for Ajumani. Arua, there's a new project which is coming in. Our problem in Arua is when it is a dry season, we run out of water. So there is a big dam which is being planned for Arua to transform water supply for Arua. Guru, the water supply is sorted because we got water from River Nile. Although now demand is also increasing, so we should be able to add an extra line on the Karuma waterworks so that the transmission main is sufficient for additional expansion. We don't have to lay another transmission main. We just have to add a new line there. Jinja, there is a project which is being done by the ministry, adding another clarifier. So we should be able to, I think the transmission pipes are sufficient, adequate hydraulically. So we should be able to reinforce it with new pumping systems and increase water supply. And this one is meant to augment water supply for Iganga and what is this other place? Kariro and Mayuge. So we are converting a gravity flow main into a forced main, a transmission main. So that should be able to deliver more water to Uganda. I think we have done a lot of work in Bujiri, which has also transformed water supply. There is a problem where the speaker comes from. There's no sufficient water there. So we want to pick water from the Busia system and increase water supply for that sector. I think we have a distance of about 10 kilometers to lay. Tororo, Johnson was just there yesterday. We've put new pumps. So that has improved water supply, but it's not sufficient. There's a project which is being planned, a regional project for the whole of Tororo, financed by the Japanese. So I can go on and on and on as far as our efforts to increase, to solve water supply challenges are concerned. I have not told you about the Kanungu water supply project, which is currently under construction. Kisoro and Kabare, maybe Johnson will talk about Kisoro and Kabare, and in Tungamu, I think there are water supply challenges there. Now, this growth, I've told you, what has been our cost efficiency and growth model. And some of you, if you really want to be enlightened journalists, listen to this very well. Because people will come and say, money is being stolen. The indicator of whether money is being stolen or not in an institution is whether it is available. Is it available? And if you want to test availability of money for stealing in an institution, you look at their cost efficiency and growth model. How is it? So these are the elements. First of all, how have we done it? We are using force account, contracting. All these projects I've told you are largely being implemented through force account. If you want to eat money, you don't go into force account. You contract out to contractors and get commissions, isn't it? But the moment you start calling people on the street to come and dig trenches so that you can put in pipes, it of course it brings down the cost. But if you are interested in money, that doesn't match very well. So we are using extensive force account to reduce the cost of investment. And if you analyze our cost of investment very well, you'll find that it is very, very low. Through collaboration with the communities, we don't compensate. We do a lot of mobilization of communities so that they can allow us to pass the pipes. 2, in-house technology and IT design capacities. We are one of the most digitalized institutions in this country. Who has designed the systems? Our people. Ordinarily, if you wanted money, you would not allow your people to design. You would buy. I know of institutions who buy systems at 17 billion, 20 billion. The intention I don't understand, because some of those systems they buy can ordinarily be developed by Ugandans. So for us, in the last 10 years, we've not bought any system. We have instead been phasing out systems which we have bought. The last system which is we are going to say goodbye is the finance management system. We have a very extensive finance management system imported from South Africa. Our reasoning has been, what is it that South Africans can do that Ugandans can't do? So I'm happy to tell you that we have now a new finance management system, better than the other one which was imported. And it's being tested out. I think in the next 1 or 2 months, it will be fully operational, and then we can phase out the other one. The other one is internal engineering design capabilities. These projects, the Hoima project which is being implemented now, designed by our people. Karungu water project, designed by our people. Rushere Chirhura water project, designed by our people. Chankwan's water project, designed by our people. Kapeka, our people. Kapchorwa, our people. So, in most cases, people who want money, they would normally want it to give it to the consultants for their own reasons. So, this has tended to bring down the cost of investment in national water. Then use of special audits. Every time we hear there is an issue, money is being misappropriated or somebody is tampering with the money, we launch a special audit to to find out what is happening. Recently, I was informed about a claim by a contractor of Kagera, which was not properly quantified. Johnson there is leading a team to quantify that claim. Because a claim, if you don't watch it very well, a contractor can easily free ride there. So we want to properly quantify it, look at our entitlements, because a claim means the contractor is saying, I did some work which have not been paid. And for us, we are also going to say, you also made us to lose A, B, C. Let's reconcile. The other approach we are using is internal incentive contracting. In national water, there is a very comprehensive incentive formula which enables people to earn additional money if they work and achieve and even exceed their targets. And that has tended to focus people into cost containment and even maximizing, optimizing other indicators. The other one is structured task force overtime compensation. Most of the work we do in national water is not done by consultants. We've recently finished a strategic plan, a very good one. You can even find it on our website. That was done by our people. We pay them some small token for working overtime, and they do it. We recently finished a customer charter done by our people, not outsourced. We recently finished integrated financial report done by our people. So we have a task force structure that we use to do things which would ordinarily be done by consultants in order to optimize costs. Digitalization for administrative efficiency. We've digitalized almost everything. Board meetings are digitalized. You don't have to print board papers. Top management meetings are digitalized, so you don't have to print papers. Recently, I see them even capturing minutes through some AI-enabled tools. And so on and so forth. Procurement, we don't get files of procurement in top management because everything is digitalized. Water quality monitoring is digitalized. Human resource management system, everything. Of course, leave alone the billing system and the e-payment system. High productivity performance management. Staff have to be appraised every quarter and their performance adequately quantified. Every quarter you are appraised and you either get A+, A, B+, B, C, and D. If you get C and D, you are in trouble. Because C means if your contract comes up for renewal, it won't be renewed. Or it would be renewed conditionally. You would be put on a PIP, performance improvement plan, and given 6 months. After 6 months, if it has not changed from C+, you just go home. A D is worse. A D is worse. Maybe these are things that are making us a little bit unpopular, but I think it is necessary. That's why when a child is being born, you find a mother is crying. But when it is born, there is happiness. We wouldn't have talked about those growth trends if some of these things were not being done in the organization. The culture of continuous learning. We are very, very, very good people in the corporation. If you notice, our people are the ones who are actually feeding other institutions. If you go to UEGCL, the entire staff there is almost came from here. And so on and so forth. There's no staff who has left National Water and he is not doing better than anywhere else he has gone. So we are very, very good people in the corporation. And they are good because they have embraced a mindset of continuous learning in the institution. Then zero tolerance contract enforcement. If you have a contract and you don't perform it, you'll be in trouble. Recently, we have even taken it a step further of evaluating the effectiveness of consultants. A consultant, if you are supervising a contractor and the contractor does not comply to the timelines, we take it upon you because that's the reason why you are employed. A consultant, if you have staff who are just signing timesheets and earning, there's an audit I've just launched recently, which is going to check activities of a consultant. If we find that he has some experts whom he put in the original contract and they have not been working, whatever money would have paid would have to be deducted on the subsequent certificates. So that helps us to be sure that people are doing what they are supposed to do. So that is our framework for cost efficiency and growth. Some of the elements are those. Now, regarding what you've been hearing, my view is it is okay for people to raise concerns, especially on things they don't understand. But it is not okay for you to raise things in bad faith. Somebody suspects Silver Mugisha is going to stand against him, then he mobilizes you, and you start raising issues now. And all our time is spent in that. Everything. There was an issue. Susan, you are welcome. That is my OG. She was a very good swimmer, so those days of ours. There were some issues which were raised. The issue of prepaid meters. That 17 billion prepaid meters, the money went to Silvermuge. The answer is no, the money did not go to Silvermuge. The answer is yes, there was an issue. In 2017, which was adequately investigated and handled. Engineer Mayo was at the helm of it. We bought meters under pressure of Ministry of Finance. Prepaid meters, we were not very familiar with prepaid meters. They came and we had issues with their operation. And fortunately, we had a lot of money we were owing the contractor, the supplier who had supplied them. And we said, if these meters don't work, forget about the money we owe you. And indeed, we did the technical audit. PPDA did the performance audit. And eventually, there was a potential loss of about $380,000 US, I think, which we had now to deduct from his invoices. And later on, PPD, of course, checked, and the matter was closed. Then there was an issue of cyber attack on our systems in 2023. Again, this is something maybe you need to propagate. It helps if you are the one who has developed your own systems. Some of our systems where the logs were affected, but because the systems had been developed by ourselves, our people were very quick to restore those logs and put back the systems. If you remember, the billing system was not off for more than a day. The e-payment system was not off for more than a day. But what was important was to find out who was behind this. We launched a forensic investigation, and there were some leads on some people, some of our staff. The only problem was the leads were not sufficient, in our view, to go for prosecution. But of course, the matter still remains. Whoever is interested can do that. What we did was to exercise our right in the Human Resource Manual to not continue working with those people. So terminate their services. and others, we had the other disciplinary measures. And also what was important was to put in place proper governance systems so that there is no repeat of this. For some of you who might not understand IT very well, cyber attack is, in a layman's language, is somebody to come to your home and he finds the gates open. So somebody left the gate open and people entered and they had started stealing a few things. We caught them. Now we have learned how to close the gates, and I don't think this issue is including other modern cybersecurity measures. Risk, then there is insurance. You heard something about insurance. Insurance, again, I'm proud that the system of insurance we are using is the best suited for institutions like National Water. Because originally we are doing risk transfer, paying huge amounts of monies to insurance companies. I think at that time, about 5 years ago, we were paying about 2.5 billion per year. You pay 2.5 billion, you get paid 400 million in claims consistently. Until the question came, every year we pay 2.5 billion and our claims are 400 million. So we applied probability theory. What is it that has gone wrong in this corporation in the last 20 years? Nothing. Some people were telling us the waterworks can burn. We said, how will the waterworks burn? If it burns, we shall build another one. Because how will the waterworks burn? That is concrete. Somebody said the other pipes can be stolen, that these big pipes which are always on the wire. We said, why haven't they gotten stolen in the last 20 years? So are we going to operate under blackmail that because the pipes can be stolen, we should continue to pay money? And when it was 2.5 billion, that was before Katosi, before all these huge treatment plants I've talked about. So with all this infrastructure that has come on board, if we were genuinely ensuring, we would be paying about 8 billion per annum. So what we did was to shift from risk transfer to risk retention. We formed our own risk management company with some experts in insurance and also some and established a risk management fund where we are putting money so that when a problem occurs, we can be able to solve it with the money we are putting on the fund. What has happened now, in the last 5 years, we have saved almost 10 billion, which we would have paid if we were risk transferring. So that's the model we have. And all these processes were duly authorized by the board because it is provided for in the law that we can form a company. So that one, the legal provision is there. There was approval of Solicitor General for us to form a what? A company. So there, if somebody raises it, either he lacks information, which is what I'm giving you, or he has other intentions. Then there was also, there's an issue I've been seeing of staff being employed above 60 years. As if it is only National Water who employs people above 60 years. Yes, it is true, our retirement age is 60 years. But we have a provision in the Human Resource Manual of employing somebody above 60 years on a special contract, on condition that you have special skills. Who are the people who are employed on special contracts? One of them is Engineer Mayo here. Why? Because if this man is not there, these people who call themselves young would actually not do what he's doing. They would not. In National Water, when we leave office, all my young people go and sleep. It is this Engineer Mayos whom you can call. I call him at 11. His wife says, can I take the phone to him? He takes. we are not in the business of niceties that you know what. We are in the business, people want water in their homes. So we don't have many people above 60s, but we only have those with special skills, especially in mission critical departments. There's also Engineer Alex Gisagara. Recently we had cables burning in Entebbe. The entire treatment plant was off. Who knew which cables to buy? No one, except Alex. If he wasn't with us, he would probably have charged us consultancy fees to put back those cables. He's the one who knew which is the armored cable, which is this one, which is with him in Arua, Terego. Somebody has suspected, because I've seen those things. We've been subjected to harassment because of such things. Because Silver Mucha wants to stand with this. So if you detect that, you would be helping us to deliver better if you would rather encourage us to perform our role. So once again, you are very, very, very welcome to this afternoon session, and please ask any question you want. The good news I can give you is that the Auditor General has commenced a value for money audit on all our projects. And the value for money audit is you are finding out efficiency, economy, and effectiveness of the project. So that should assure the public that all these projects will be checked, and we are open. We are open. Even me, I need to know these projects because I don't play a lot of role, by the way, in projects. Because every project has its contract manager. I don't play much. So if I can get a certificate of good service or a certificate of concern, I will learn lessons in these projects. But to the best of my knowledge, we've done our best in these projects. To the best of my knowledge. To the extent of having implemented projects under market financing at a cost almost 3 times lower than these projects we normally use donor-funded financing. So once again, thank you very much for coming. We want to request you for partnership, not in terms of covering any wrongdoing, but in terms of promoting public interest in this country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, MD, for that extensive presentation. I would now like to take this opportunity to invite Engineer Johnson Amayo, our Deputy MD Technical Services, to provide a presentation on other projects we are doing across the country to ensure that we have water for all. After that, we shall go into an interactive session of questions and answers. Yes. Okay.
No, the other one. The first one. Okay. I think I will try to use it. I want to observe protocol. I'm Engineer Johnson Amayo, the one they have been talking about. It is very difficult to be in a situation where people are talking about you. But most of us who do these projects, I always am inspired by Sudir, who understands that when you are doing big things, you have to develop a thick skin. So I'm a person who has developed a thick skin, but I'm not intending to stay around in the national water for the rest of my life. Probably it's just because that we want to serve our country. So the projects I'm going to talk about are the very many things we have done in the last 5 years. We have done many things before, but I've tried to cap my discourse to the last 5 years, 2021. Can somebody help me? So where is the... So in terms of presentation, I'll have introduction, I'll have performance overview, status of external funded projects, and then we'll have internal projects. Challenges, there is no conclusion. I will conclude, but I'm not going to go through word by word because Engineer Lutaya made a presentation. I saw MD almost summarize everything I was saying. What am I going to say? But I have pictures. I'm told pictures speak more than... So I'm just going to present in terms of giving you pictures. So just our vision, that's our mandate as an institution. I think MD talked about it already. And then we have our geographical footprint is actually 293 towns now. From 3 towns long ago, we are having a national character. Our vision is to have water for all, for health and prosperity, and that is our mission. I just picked a few strategic objectives on our strategic plan, NWA Strategic Plan 225 to 230. It's a 5-year plan which is duly and 100% aligned with NDP4. And those are some things which I'm sure MD talked about already, but I was looking at the last 5 years. And those are key indicators. How many people are we serving, the number of connections we have now, a number of towns, and our turnover. MD talked of our asset base. He wants to take it to the next couple, but right now we're at 5 billion. We have the customer satisfaction index where we're at 82. We do every year assess what the customers think about us. Employee engagement index, we have dropped from 80 to 78.2. There's a reason for us to be concerned about the areas where they want us to improve. Now, I want us to take 2 projects. We have projects which we do through external finance with the support of government, and that is in line with the policy of government that large infrastructure will remain the resolve of government. But for us as National Water, what we do is we cover operational costs, we cover depreciation, we also do a number of investments, which we're going to show you in these pictures. This is a project we finished in 2022. It's across here. And this is Kampala Wastewater Project. The unique thing about it is that we produce electricity using the waste from us. So what comes out of us is actually a resource. I think we all know 70% of our energy usage across here, we produce electricity from the sewage we receive. That is the plant. That one is Katosi. I think some of you have gone there. We also finished this project around 2022. It involved a transmission main. It involved the water treatment plant. I'm sorry I put an old picture, but all the place is now new. And we had the pipeline. And this program is still continuing with the ongoing project which is going on. That one is we also improved the GABA, increased the capacity of GABA to design capacity of 230. This is what we did in the last 5 years. This is our old plant. It was first built in 1928 before independence. It has continued to grow. We now have a capacity of producing 230 million. And for your information also, Katosi, we are planning to add another 80 million liters of water so that we are able to produce 240 million liters of water per day for Katosi. And when that happens, our production capacity in Kampala will be close to 500 million liters of water per day. And it is a work in progress. That is a Nalukolongo wastewater treatment facility which we have built in order to manage fecal sludge from Kampala. And this was a project we have just finished, and it was completely. And there are those yellow toilets, I think you have seen one in the Constitutional Square with the SAMO facilities up. That was done as part of this project. We did the project and handed over to KCCA as part of partnership. You can see our managing director there, together with the former ED of KCCA when we were handing over some of the facilities to them. That is a project, the Ajumani project. As you have been told, we have been doing a project where Ajumani is getting water from River Nile. The project is 100% completed, and the people of Ajumani are enjoying water from River Nile. We have Gulu project. We are also getting water from Gulu, from River Nile, and we pump that water over 50 kilometers. So this project is also completed. That's the pipeline. When you have a chance to drive to Gulu, on your left, you will see a pipeline coming all the way from Gulu. That is the southwestern cluster. I normally refer to it a mean Katosi. This is a new water treatment plant we have built in near River Kagera. We get water from River Kagera, and we pump the water all the way from the border to Mbarara city over a distance of 60 kilometers. This is an old photo. So the new facility is complete, but that was just to give you the whatever. And this facility supplies all the communities along the way, but we also have a phase of supplying entire Isingiro district. All rural growth centers within the district are going to be served, and that phase is being done by Ministry of Water, but for us we did the bulk infrastructure for entire Isingiro district and Mbarara city. So those are just highlights of the external finance projects which have been completed. We also have projects in the pipeline, of course, which are ongoing. Package 2B, we are building 15 million liter capacity reservoir. Initially, we were doing 10 million on Kanyanya Hill, but eventually it will be increased in capacity. We're also doing about 4 million on Kabalengwa, on Hoima Road. Another big reservoir of about 1 million liter in Matuga. And with all those, the problems of northeastern and the northern part of Kampala will be resolved. But we are also moving ahead to deal with the issue of Kampala West, We have a project in the pipeline. And one of the things we also want to do is when we are upgrading Katosi, we want to address areas between, right now we have a problem between Kampala and Entebbe. So those are projects which are on progress, and this is 35% progress. We expect to have this project completed next year in September. And the people of northern Kampala, those in Hoima, Gayaza Road and beyond, will be able to smile. This is Southwestern Cluster Project, Masaka. We are getting water from Bukakata, and we are going to be sending 14 million liters of water on top of the 7 million we are producing in the old plant. So Masaka is going to be having over 21 million liters of water. But in our planning, we are doing currently an intake structure of 14 million. We are going to draw water almost 1 kilometer from the shore of lake. The pipe is going to go into the lake 800 meters. And this project is ongoing. And what you see there is this is the reservoir at Kako. We're putting up a big reservoir at Kako, which is the highest point in Masaka. And this reservoir will be able to feed Camp Masaka. So that one is a Mbale project. We're doing it under World Bank. We should be finishing this one in 2 months' time. We're building 18 million liter capacity water facility in the mountain, and that water will come by gravity to feed Mbale. And we're also upgrading the old Manafa water treatment plant. So we'll be having Mbale served with over 27 million from the current about 7 million liter they are producing. So that is increasing the capacity more than 3 times. And all the neighboring towns, Busolwe, Butaleja, Kibuku, all those towns are already gazetted. They will get water from this facility. So those are external funded projects which then these are planned projects. We have a project we are developing called Wakiso West. This is going to be targeting Mitiana Road, going up to Bujuko. We're going to be following we're also targeting Mbigi Road, the areas within the greater southwest of so we intend to put a new waterworks of capacity of 125 million liters between Entebbe and Kampala. When that project is done, the whole of the corridor between Kampala and Entebbe will be sorted. But at the same time, National Water, through its own resources, we're already in the process of doing a 30 million liter capacity project, and it is ready. We are finalizing design, and we should be able to tender in the shortest time. We have already secured the land on the shores of Lake Victoria. On the other side of, I don't remember the name, that place is Nakauka. Nakauka is the town, but we have where the waterworks is, you go like another 9 kilometers further south. So that is the project we're going to do as immediate solution as this Wakiso project is being worked on. We are in the stage of the selection of the design consultant and supervision consultant, and this consultant is being done under a grant finance from Impact Fund Denmark. This is the company. I mean, this is a funding agency in Denmark, which is supporting us in this project. So this is something which is going to see significant improvement in the western part of Kampala. The other one is the Fort Portal, Hoima, and Watson and the Lira project is a regional project. Our estimate is about 270 million. We're working with the government to make sure that these 270 million euros, but the initial commitment of about 150 million, we're going to address Fort Portal, Hoima, and Lira cities. Our dream for Hoima is to get water from Lake Kyoga. And if you get water from Kyoga, you will sort Masindi, you will sort out all the cities and the towns along the Gulu Highway, especially Kigumba, Kereandongo, will all be supplied. And this is a project which is under development. We are moving towards the detailed design. And we're working with the French Development Agency for this. And these are the people who supported us in developing Southwestern Cluster Project. We have what we call climate resilience and water infrastructure for refugees and host communities, and this is targeting Arua City. This project is coming in 2 phases. Phase 1, including city planning, is about 23 million euros. National Water has 17 million, but we have a bigger follow-up project to do a dam to supply the city of Arua, and that one is also a project in development, and we are working together with Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Water, and Ministry of Finance to secure the funding for this. And we're already at the point we're already doing the selection for the consultants for the immediate measures, which will see improvements in the next 2 to 3 years. And then we have south of Luzira catchment area sewerage project. This is a project we are doing. We're already evaluating the works contractors. We are targeting to sewer Luzira catchment, including Luzira prisons, the industries. You see there, all those places, so that we are able to have that catchment captured and protect Lake Victoria. So this the technical evaluation of the bids has already been done. We should be having this project awarded very soon. That is a repetition. Now, I take us through the internally financed projects. National Water, as the managing director stated, we go to the market and we borrow money and pay using our internal generated money to do projects which are at a level maybe 5 million water systems and so on. We have done many of them. I've just listed those we have done in the last year. We did the Busheni an augmentation project, just 11 billion to increase water production capacity by 2.5 million and 4 kilometers. And this project, those are the communities who are benefiting out of it. We improved Fort Portal water supply, increased it by 2.5. This was an improvement within the waterworks, and this was done at about 2.5 using market finance also. And these projects, as MD told you, we design these things internally. We don't engage consultants. We did Sembabule water supply improvement project. This one cost us 14.3 billion using market finance. and we are able to increase the capacity of the plant from 300 cubic when we took over to 3,000 cubic meters of water. We upgraded Kapeka. It was another 14 billion, and we put up a facility of about 5.8 million liters per day, and with the 2.8 pumping main, and then we did a reservoir. So this project has significantly improved Kapeka's revenue generation capacity because we have a number of factories which are connected, including the local communities. We also did the Kirudu Hospital. This was done in 2022 in support of the government of Uganda. The hospital was done, and they had challenges. I think it was also on the papers. They requested National Water to provide the technical support, which we did, and were able to come out with a project. We also improved the Hoima, a water supply system as short-term measures, and we are also working, and MD reported, as part of the government's readiness for AFCON 227, we are doing a new waterworks, getting water from Kafu on the way to Kikube district, about 30 kilometers from the city center. And that project, we intend to have it completed by end of March next year, so that those who are going to be part of the football tournaments there are able to get water. And I want also to report that the stadium, we have already developed water systems, independent water systems for the stadium. We don't have any problem of water supply for the stadium. We are now targeting the population which will come and watch and want to sleep in Hoima. So that is what we are doing. We did Liantonde at 15 billion, and this project, we were able to deliver 5 million liters per day, and that is using also our own money. And then we did the Chankwanzi water supply. We get water from River Mayanja and pump that water, the raw water, 4 kilometers away. We treat it, and we're able to serve a number of townships within Chankwanzi Town Council and some neighboring communities which are under our area of jurisdiction. I also have Soroti. We did the intermittent, some medium-term measures to improve water supply in Soroti, to step it from 5 to 10 million and at a cost of 8 billion, and this project has just been completed. In Elera, we have upgraded the water production system, and the test run is already ongoing, and we should be able to see significant improvement in Elera with the increased capacity. Those are projects under market finance, which I thought I needed to share with you. We also have projects we are doing with the government of Uganda, and there's one popular one called SCAP 100, where for every shilling government puts, we also put a shilling, and through that we have done a number of projects. The purpose is to increase connections and also to target the poor of the poor by installing public standposts. In the course of the last financial year, we have been able to cumulatively reach to 11,970 villages, all cells within our operational area. Where we're operating, we have villages within the boundaries of the what I will call places which are not very developed, but there are poor people who are living there. So that's what we have done. Last year we were able to achieve 60,000 connections, 3,000 for PSPs, and we were able to do 1,000 kilometers of water mains extensions, way beyond our targeted aspirations. Now, this takes me to the projects which are being done under national water, but through the what we call delegated management. I'm going to request Engineer Edmond to take us through, if you can, the technical people, if you can flash the second presentation. Can you flash the second presentation? The second one, not this one. Can you upload the second presentation? Call it delegated. Yeah. So those are a number of projects which are being done through this man who is also 60 years like
Thank you very much, Engineer Mayo. Let me ride on the same protocol and move straight to the presentation. My name is Engineer Edmond Okaronon. I'm the Senior Director, Engineering Services. What Engineer Amaya has presented are the big projects. The big projects which we are implementing in the areas. What I'm going to scan through are small short-term projects which we implement in most of our operational areas, but they are quite impactful. This one looks at the mini systems, borehole systems, looks at upgrades of networks, extensions of services to the unserved places, and so on. Things which are short-term, but they are quite impacting. The first one there is a project we did in Kitgum, where we had to drill a borehole within the town center and were able to improve on supply within the municipality. The other one is in Soroti, Amuria. We drilled 2 boreholes with a yield of 20 cubics per hour. And then we laid a network to the unserved areas within those areas. The other one is a project in Arua, where we also drilled. I think the thing is not clear. I'll use both the hard copy. That is a project we did in Arua. That is on the Paraka project, where we drilled 2 boreholes of 25 cubic meters per hour and 30 cubic meters per hour. And then we did network extensions to a number of areas within that locality to improve on supply. The other project we did was in Mityana, where we drilled a borehole in Gombe of a yield of 28 cubics per hour, and then we did an extension, a transmission main of 3 kilometers. The other project we did was Irembezi, a mini water supply project in Bushenyi, and this one looked at extending the supply by about 6 kilometers to the unserved areas, and also did a reservoir to ensure water supply reliability during times of outage. The other project we did was the Kahunje Main Water Supply Project in Busheni, and this one also we did a reservoir of 60 cubics. We did extend services by a distance of about 30 kilometers to cover the unserved areas. The other high impacting project we did was in Bugiri, where we had 2 high yielding boreholes. One was of 65 cubic meters per hour, and then the second one was at 20 cubic meters per hour, and we extended supply by laying 18 kilometers of transmission mains, and also had a reservoir of 100 cubics within the municipality. The other project we did was from the Kapeka water supply system, and this one was bulk supply from Kapeka to Semuto, where we laid a distance of 14 kilometers from Kapeka to Semuto, and also had a reservoir of 162 cubic meters, 162,000 liters in Semuto to serve the people there. The other project we did was in Lira, and this one is the sewer project, where we're changing our sewerage system from the one near the municipality within the central business district to one outside the municipality, to transfer the sewerage system from the one near the municipality to the one outside, because we're receiving a number of complaints from the customers. The other project we did was in Mutukula, that is under Chotera, and here we drilled a borehole, did an extension of 3 kilometers, and then a transmission main of 3 kilometers, and also installed a reservoir of 100 cubic meters to stabilize supply in Mutukula. The other project we have done is in Morkatipe, that is in Tororo, and here we did a booster and then a reservoir of 162 cubic meters and a distribution network of 6.1 kilometers to interconnect this with the places which were not receiving supply. Those were the completed projects over the last 1 or 2 years. The ongoing projects currently, quite a number. We have a project in Kitigoma, in Jinja, where we have drilled a borehole of 10 cubics per hour. We have laid a transmission main, and then a distribution main, and a reservoir of 100 cubic meters. I also have a project in Moroto, where we have drilled a borehole of 29 cubics per hour, and we have laid a transmission main of 1.2 kilometers, and what is outstanding now is mainly the installation of pumps to have that project completed. The other ongoing project is in Bushenyi, that is Katungu project, where we are boosting supply to Katungu Hill, and also laying a distribution network to the unserved areas. Another project we are currently doing is the Tororo water supply stabilization project, and here we are drilling a number of boreholes where we are drilling 4 production boreholes in a number of locations, and these are currently being developed. The other project we're doing in partnership with the World Vision, we're developing a project of 45 cubic meters per hour and also laying a transmission main of 6 kilometers. And under that partnership, we're installing 50 public standpipes to serve the peri-urban communities. The other project we're doing is the Chazanga water supply project in Lwengo. Here we had 2 very high yielding boreholes of 28 cubics per hour and 75 cubics per hour. Most of the works are complete. What is remaining mainly is power connection so that this project can be commissioned. The other project we are doing is the upgrade of the water production and treatment units in Nebi. We have upgraded the raw water pumps. We have upgraded the high lift pumps and also the transmission main so that we are able to deliver more water to the system. The other project we are doing is in Jinja, that is in Nanso and Kitigoma. Most of the works are done. What is pending is power connections to commission these projects. We're also doing a number of flagship projects in Shema. We have water supply augmentation projects we are doing to bring water from the Shuku water treatment plant to Shema municipality. We're also doing a project in Keihara where we're having developing a source, a reservoir of 60 cubics and also laying a transmission and distribution mains. We're also doing another project in Rukundo supply area, and here we're installing a booster and a reservoir 120 cubic meters. Other projects we're doing, we have the Jinja. In Jinja, we're doing a bulk supply project from the Kiendi water treatment plant, which was recently commissioned and handed over to us by the ministry in Buikwe. So we're doing a bulk water supply from that plant to serve the areas of Njeru which are currently having dry zones. We're also doing another project in Ibanda where we're laying a 19-kilometer parallel transmission main from the source to Ibanda town to increase on the water production. We're also doing a project in Ibeale, Kiriandongo, where we're developing 4 boreholes. The drilling is already completed. We are now in the process of developing these boreholes. So in short, those are the completed and ongoing projects. As you can see, at least we have footage in most of the areas across the country. Thank you very much.
So that brings us almost to the end, but just to talk about some projects MD mentioned, but also to emphasize, we have Kanungu, where we're increasing the water production capacity from 1 million liters to 3 million. This project is already ongoing. In Tebe Nakauka, I talked to you about already. We're moving into tendering out, and that will be a medium-term intervention to the major Wakiso West project, which will see significant improvement. Then we have Kakumiro Water Project. Government this year provided support to Nakauka project, Kakumiro, and I think Bukedia to the tune of 40 billion. And we are finalizing the design for Kakumiro. In the course of next week, we should be able to advertise. And Bukedia, we're already procuring upgraded pumps, and we expect to finish, to have these projects up and running. We are in the process of designing a system for Cabremaido which is currently getting water from Soroti, 60 kilometers away, and yet that township is near River Nile. I think Lake Kyoga, and the design is already ongoing, and we hope to be able to implement those projects using our internal resources. We are also designing for Kitugum water supply system. They rely on boreholes, but we have identified a river nearby which is very reliable, and we want to use that, also upgrade that system. So those are some of the many projects that we are doing. You can see a lot is happening, but when we don't talk to you, it looks like nothing's happened. I'm happy that this arrangement was made so that people know what the young and the mix of young and old people can do when they are well intentioned. So there's a lot which is happening, and just a few challenges. The population growth remains a big issue. Yesterday they asked me, for how long are you going to follow this to increase water supply because the population is growing? Somebody asked me, I'm not going to say who asked me, but I wanted to ask him that maybe, I don't know when people will also start producing children. So long as Ugandans are producing, the demand for water will always be there. So there's increasing demand for water. Rapid urbanization you see in this country, but financing is a problem. We want to do everything, but there's a limit to what we can do. And the issues of climate change have remained an issue. And we're part of the global world. The closure of the Strait of Hormuz has a big impact on us as well. In terms of you see prices of fuel have gone up. We have issues of chemicals. Some of the products come from that part of the world. So we're part of the bigger global event. Global systems affect us. So I want to thank you for listening to me and my colleague Edmond, and I hope we've been able to enlighten you on some of the things that we are doing, which you are not able to. But thanks MD and Mahmoud for this arrangement. Thank you.
I'd like to thank our media partners for being such a wonderful, wonderful group of people. You've been listening to us. Now it's time for us to listen. I'm sure you have some questions you'd like to ask. And I'm going to ask the MD, Engineer Johnson Amayo, our General Manager, and Senior Director, Edmund, come and sit in front. All the good words have not been heard. I just wanted to say thank you so much. Some of you have been here since 7:30 in the morning. You've listened to us. It's now time for us to listen to you. I'm sure you have some questions. There are also other people who are sitting on this table in case they need to. Hey, Mr. Kateva, Engineer Kateva, you also come here. You are the one in charge of the network. All these snakes moving around town, you know where they pass. So you might be able to provide some answers. So you will say your name, the person you are directing your question to, and then maybe we take them in batches of 5. It's okay. Cream, there's somebody behind you. They're working.
Thank you so much. My name is Mohammed from UETCL. I know I play a role in National Water's success. But my question goes to Dr. Silva. In your presentation, none of you has talked about bill collection. I believe that could be one of your success stories in terms of, because in power it's very easy to compute, and given that for us people consume power after paying, which is the opposite of water. So probably if you could tell us the success story in terms of bill collection, and also the water losses, because on so many occasions we report broken pipes and along the roads. So I don't know also how you measure and how you've managed to reduce on water losses in your journey. Thank you.
Yes. Johnson?
Thank you, team. I'm Johnson Msingu, speaking as a customer. I wanted to know the coverage, sewer coverage, because the top African countries are at 70%. I wanted to know the percentage we are at as Uganda, and why it is not almost the same as the distribution of water. Then the second one is, I have not heard something about Kampala external services of national water. I think in the past we used to be told they were making good money by doing external services in India and other parts of the world. Is that still there? Otherwise, thank you very much. That's what I had.
Yes. Dr. Simon.
Hi once again. I'm interested in billing as well, but from a different perspective. There is some, I don't want to call it a rumor, but anecdotal evidence that suggests sometimes the billing is maybe higher than it should be. And the MD sort of, it now makes sense because he talked about bonuses. Bonuses are good ways to encourage workers to do well, but sometimes they can be problematic. I have a friend, I once told her never to pay her bill fully because that's one of the surest ways to get your bill to increase. Like 2 months ago, she usually, I understand she usually spends like 75,000 per year on water. She paid 150 in advance. And suddenly her bill ballooned to around 400,000 per month. But that's all, like I said, anecdotal, but I just caught something interesting. When they talked about the cost for domestic water, I checked the bill I had on my phone. And it says that it is a domestic meter, but the cost is per unit is 4,546 versus the 4,433. Now that's a negligible amount if you're consuming 1 or 2 units. But if you're consuming a lot of water, I suspect it will add up. So like I said, I looked at the meter that the bill that I had on my phone, and that's what I saw. The bill says 4,546. You guys say it's 4,433. So how do you deal with that existence of bonuses encouraging people to try and cheat? Thanks.
Another question? Giles, Mohammed?
Thank you very much. My question is brief. It's about the persistent power disruptions that affect water production and pumping. What plans does National Water have to invest in solar and other renewable energy solutions to improve reliability and reduce dependence on the national grid? Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Biwall from 933 KFM. I have 2 quick concerns. First of all, I want to applaud National Water for this engagement. I think a number of institutions in Uganda can, must, and should learn from this. Many of us are looked at as the enemy, but what National Water does is engage even quote-unquote the enemy. And I think the message goes further when people who are in that other camp are part of the communication. So this is a big deal. I love it. We were here, I don't know whether it was a year ago or 2 years ago, and one of the issues that came up was the absence of, I want to call it interagency sort of cooperation. I'm glad that today I've seen Mohammed from UETCL, I've seen Alan from Ministry of Works, which is a step in the right direction. But it would be nice to have, for example, somebody from UCC, right? Because one of the things we are struggling with is the road is dug up by one institution, they do their work, they go away, right? Somebody else comes and digs up the same road, they do their works, they go away. Another person comes and you're thinking, can't you guys talk to each other, right? And dig once, fix your things, and let life move smoothly. So it would be nice to hear a bit of that. And then finally, I wanted to hear something about repairs and maintenance. How often do you do repairs and maintenance? Is it as damages happen, or is it routine? And the thing about the whistleblower, I wanted to understand if there's some kind of incentive, because there are people out there who are vagabonds, for lack of another word, yeah? And if I see somebody destroying national water property, is there some kind of incentive if I, do some whistleblowing? I want to, yeah, thank you.
For vandalism. I think those are 10 questions. We can take those.
Well, there are 5. They are not yet 10, but I think it's better to receive 5.
Yes, sir.
It's easier. I would ask Mahmoud to be looking at the incentive for reporting for whistleblowers when they save us costs. Now, interagency coordination. This issue is often talked about by many people. And the aim is that people don't want to see a road constructed and then National Water is coming tomorrow to lay a pipe, and maybe UEDCL is coming to put a cable. They want, once a road is done, nobody should cut it. Now, that is ideal. If you have been outside the country, in those developed countries, roads are actually continuously cut. And even if you coordinated, what would happen if the pipe leaked, for example? If it leaked, you would still cut. I think what is the arrangement which is existing now is that we are coordinating. When a road is going to be done, there's a mechanism for relocating pipes. There's a mechanism for relocating cables. And what is key is once you cut a road, you should be able to reinstate it to the quality at which it was. Because you'll never fail to cut a road. The pipe will leak, you have to cut, and I think we have to up our act in the procedures we take to cut roads, and if we cut them, how do we make sure that we reinstate them to the quality that we found there? And that's the arrangement that these owners of roads have. Like one of the arrangements is that if you're going to cut a road, there is a direction on who should reinstate it. And if you reinstate it, there's a direction on who should test the quality. We are not perfect on that, but I think that is the practical way this can easily happen. We've tried this right in our systems. Arrangement, we've said no, you can't sell them to us. You install them and we assure you of offtake. We shall offtake power, but at a cost which is not higher than what we're offtaking from the UEDCL grid. Now, what that one will help us to do, first of all, it will increase the power pool of the national power pool. And then secondly, it will increase the dedication of power to our treatment plants and maybe reduce power outages we are having, and also manage costs. So the simple answer to that is that we are looking at it, and in order to actually minimize the cost of installation of those solar systems, We have said that they can install those solar systems for day operation, and at night we can switch over to EDCL to avoid storage, because these systems become expensive when you have to install batteries to ensure that you have power at night. So if there is no storage, those systems are likely to be lower, and therefore the off-take tariff is likely to be affordable for us. And also the appetite to install them by these investors is likely to increase. The other one was about bidding. Madam, maybe the advice you should take from here and for everybody is once you get a bid, don't just look at the money only, look at the meter reading. And go to your meter and check that the meter is reading what it is. Because if you only take interest in the bid you see there is a multiplicative effect of consumption and the tariff. So maybe you have consumed a lot of water, and when you get that consumption times the tariff, it gives you that bid. So I think the trick is look at your meter reading. If your meter reading is, sorry? Yes. Well, I didn't understand your question. You mean the cost of the unit is different?
Yes, I read it. It's on the phone. On the one I read is 4,546. And you guys say the cost of a unit is 4,433.
Okay. There is an explanation for that. The one we have told you was before the current indexation. There was a tariff indexation for this year of 2.3%, something like that. So what you have here has been affected by indexation. What we presented here was without indexation. So the way indexation comes is every year we assess the economic situation. How has inflation changed? How has the foreign exchange rate changed? How has the power tariff changed? And how has the proportion of domestic versus the total number of customers changed? Because the way we operate here is domestic, rather industry tariff is not changed at all. The PSP tariff, the one for the low-income people, is not indexed. And so every year we assess what we call the market share analysis. So what you have there is affected by indexation. What they presented here was indexation-free. That's the difference. And our managers, yes, I can't rule out the managers trying to mobilize bidding from by tampering with meters, but that does not work. That's why I'm insisting that you should always check your meter. Check your meter, and we are always open. If we have billed you on the basis of a meter reading that is not what you have, we'll definitely automatically adjust your tariff to exact meter reading. You may need to know that your meters are currently cheating us. We've done a research. If you have a domestic, you have a tank, that tank is cheating us to the level of 15%. And if you are drinking in the evening, I thought Baram was going to abolish this thing, but it still would be starting at 3. So this water you flush at night, actually our meter doesn't count it, because it is low flow, because of the overhead tanks, and we lose money. Those who have big flats and you have about 15 meters on them, those meters are cheating us up to about 8 to 10%. So it is a research study which we are doing. We are validating it through experts, and once we are able to map out those losses, we should be able to see what we can do to mitigate those losses. There was a question on external services. External services is very, very active, very, very, very active. I can tell you. I think we get about 2 to 3 billion in income from external services. External services is another name for consultancy services offered by our people here. So our people go out there, they are helping institutions in Zambia, institutions in Kenya, in Ethiopia, in West Africa. Even recently, I saw a proposal the African Water and Sanitation Association is doing, where they want to incorporate us for a possible external service assignment with the African Development Bank. So it is very, very much alive, and it is what is actually making us known outside there. There was also a question of sewage. You said West Africa, you hear their sewage coverage is 70, is 80, sometimes it's even in 90. The reason is the way it is calculated. Those countries you know, you are talking about, they actually also include septic tank coverage. For us, our sewage coverage does not include septic tanks. Their argument is that septic tanks is another form of sewage disposal. So when they are computing their sewage coverage, they include septic tanks. Even in Europe, by the way, Europe is not 100% sewered, but they also have decentralized on-site sanitation systems, which they calculate as part of their sewerage coverage. Our sewerage coverage, the sewage through pipes, I think is about 25% now? 23. But in the central business district, it is almost 100%. If you take out, of course, these slum areas. So we don't want to calculate it the way those West Africans calculate it. We want to continue calculating those who are accessible to piped sewer. For them, there is sanitation coverage where they include even septic tanks. Then UETCL, you have not talked about bill collection and what losses we have. Yes, bill collection, we don't have the prepaid meters as you have in UEDCL because we don't like prepaid meters for many reasons in water. We have them on some accounts, but generally we don't have them everywhere. The reason being that they are expensive, much, much more expensive than the power meters. And the technical reason is that the power meters, power is the flow of electrons, whereas water is the flow of molecules. So therefore, the maintenance requirements for water meters, prepaid meters, is much higher because of the flow dynamics that make the meter work. So a prepaid meter for water would cost not less than 1 million. Now, if you get 1 million multiplied by 1 million connections, we need 1 trillion to replace all the meters we have. We don't have 1 trillion to replace just meters for convenience. We'd rather invest it and reach to Ugandans. And once you have put a prepaid meter, it will again be subjected to 3 risks. There's a huge maintenance cost risk. There is also a huge cybersecurity risk. The power people don't talk about the cost of cybersecurity protection in prepaid meters, but it's very huge. And when it occurs, you are at a standstill. Because when we got a hack, we are at a standstill with prepaid meters we have in the urban poor settlements. We were able to survive because they are not widespread. But you imagine if everywhere we had prepaid meters, then you get a hack. So the cost of cyber security protection, protecting ransomware with prepaid meters, is very, 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 very high. So therefore, we are now first reaching out to Ugandans who don't have prepaid meters, others who don't have water. And we are now working out models whereby a Ugandan who wants a prepaid meter, we shall refer you to the shop where it is bought. You buy it, then we shall have an arrangement where we interface. We keep our meter, you put your prepaid meter ahead, you enjoy the luxury of prepaid meter services, but at your cost. And we still can be able to check it with our meter, which is behind. Now, with these other mechanical meters we have, our correction ratio is between 98 to 100%, meaning that we literally correct all the money we have built. And where we have prepaid meters on government institutions, they are actually not prepaid meters, they are postpaid meters, because once a prepaid meter cuts off water for prisons, the PSST calls you and say, kindly put it back. Now you wonder, so what is the purpose of this prepaid meter? Eh? Because the issue with non-payment of bills by government is not an issue of prepaid meter, it is an issue of inadequate budgeting. So when they have budgeted less, and it cuts off power, rather water, you get a call from PSST, kindly do what? Reconnect. And then you start wondering why. Now, water losses, I think I've told you, all our regions have water losses less than 25%, except Kampala of this gentleman, where non-revenue water is about 35 to 37%. He's working on it. That's where the research is very, very active. And that's how we want to deal with water losses we get as a result of overhead tanks, the water losses we get as a result of meter separations. And once we eliminate those two sources, we shall be left with two other sources which are within our control. One source is illegal connections, which we can work on with the police. We are currently working on with the police. We have a whole unit of police with us, which is helping us to manage illegal connections. And we shall also be left with the problem of physical losses. The pipes burst, and then we have to come in very quickly to repair the leakages, and that's how we are going to deal with it. But as I talk, we have about 4 sources. So we are working towards eliminating the 2 through a research process, and then we shall be left with 2. But Mahmoud can talk about the whistleblower.
Thank you, MD, and thank you for the questions. Also, there's another question that was asked about maintenance, whether we only maintain when pipes are broken down. We basically have 3 regimes of maintenance. There's the reactive one, where we have pipe has broken down, we have to maintain it. But also we have planned maintenance schedules, where we know that after a particular period of time, we have to maintain our assets, not just the pipes, but even the pumps, even our reservoirs. So we do it in such a way that we schedule it at a time where we can minimize interruptions. We try to coordinate in case there's a planned, again, shutdown for mid-DCL, so that the impact on supply is minimized. So maintenance can happen because we have a broken pipe. It can be reactive, it can be planned, but also can be preventive. So we have all those modes of what? Maintenance. Now, in terms of the incentive for whistleblowing, yes, we do incentivize our customers or the public in case you report, especially in respect to illegalities. If you report a person who is stealing water, that is also tampering with infrastructure, we have an incentive framework that we're able to reward you. But also where you have cases where someone is vandalizing our assets, depending on the nature of vandalism. But I think the most important thing, what we should all know, that this is a public good. So any effort of you identifying any tampering with an asset is in your interest, it's in our interest to report it. But like I said, in most cases, we try to find a way of what? Incentivize our whistleblowers.
Thank you. I think we've answered that round of questions. Can we have another set of questions? Yes.
Yes, I name Babazi Sigmund, and I work with Ankole Times and Ubuntu Times. So my questions are directed to the MD. You have acknowledged that Kampala is growing faster than infrastructure planning, with single homes being replaced by dozens of housing units. Is National Water currently expanding its network fast enough to stay ahead of this growth, or are we simply upgrading infrastructure after the city has outgrown it? Then the second question is, you also said that once the current projects are completed, the water-stressed areas of Kampala and Wakiso will no longer have supply challenges. Can you commit to a specific number of hours of reliable water supply per day in those areas? And what should residents hold National Water accountable for if that target isn't achieved by August 2027?
Yes, any more questions? Yes. If you've ever taught,
sorry,
when people are not asking questions, please.
Sorry, just a quick appeal. On the issue of, how do I say this delicately? So we do have individuals who have unique skills and unique expertise, and as the MD mentioned, there are certain people who are above 60 you can't just let go of, and that's a good thing, because you need mentors, you need people to look up to. But I would like to appeal to the MD and everybody else to, take a chance on these young people, right? They might love to sleep, but give them the opportunity, A good number of them are A, afraid, B, they haven't been given the opportunity, and C, they don't even know where to go, right? So perhaps as somebody is approaching, 45 or 50, you mentor this person so that by the time you get to 60, you can go home and rest and look after your family, and these young guys can take over. It's just a small appeal. Otherwise, thank you.
Yes, is there a question there? No, you're done. Okay, this is very good. It doesn't.
Okay, so I think we can take on this.
Yes.
We can also have more time. I see there's some preparation going on down there.
Yeah, there'll be a networking session down here.
There's a networking session.
Yes, sir.
Yes, somebody is saying that we should give a chance to these young people. The lady who is moving a microphone is actually a young person. I can give you all the examples. The manager of Shema, I think, is 35. The manager of you want 20?
Before you are finishing.
20. Want you again take me into papers that I'm giving people who are underage? This gentleman who is seated here, the general manager of Kampala, is a relatively young man. Who else? The
John Fisher.
John Fisher there, senior manager, is a young water professional. I think all our managers, by the way, we don't have an area manager who is above 45, apparently. All our area managers are young people, very, very young people. The challenge they have, and which I am encouraging them, especially those who are here, is to reach levels of people like Mayo, people like because there are levels where you reach. Maybe we can learn it now. You see, when you are growing up in leadership, you have an interplay of three competencies. You have knowledge competencies, you have skills competencies, and character competencies, isn't it? Those who are HR people. Now, when you are still young, coming up, knowledge competencies play a bigger role. What you know, well, those are knowledge competencies. The moment you progress, knowledge competence tends to come lower, and you start now needing more skills, competencies, and a little bit more of character competencies. As you go up there, you need much more of character competencies, a little bit more of skills competencies, and maybe not so much of knowledge competencies. If you know this competence model the HR people use. Now, in character competencies, what do you need there? You need resilience, you need teamwork, you need empathy, you need influence, you need knowing how to deal with politics, you need all those things. So, most people tend to stay prisoners of knowledge competencies. That's why you hear them saying, now I have finished the master's, MD, I want to go for a PhD. But what are you getting in getting a PhD? You are getting more of knowledge competencies which are not needed. Where? Up there. I've been teaching my people this model and how the different elasticities on these three factors explain leadership effectiveness at a higher level. And we are doing that a lot. We are doing that a lot so that people can understand it. So the answer to your question is that is the policy in this institution. The policy is encourage young people to come up. Encourage young people to come up. People who will have integrity. People who will implement, because we spend a lot of energy here trying to spend these guys, to tell these guys that please, just be patient. There's a lot you can benefit in being a person of integrity. There's a lot you can benefit in being a person who is trustworthy. But if you see people who face a disciplinary committee in this organization, it is only young people. Literally, young people. They want to get rich very fast. When they see Amayo building a hotel in Irira, in Arua, they also feel they should have a hotel. But this is a man who has worked for 36 years in the organization, maybe even more. Can't you hold on? But it is not lost. It is not lost. I see some young, that's why you see the Katevas. Even that Kateva is a young man, by the way. He's a relatively young man. But the fact that he is now the minister in King Oyo's place, I think it shows you that he's getting better. This Nicholas, that is a young man. Maybe I was jumping too much. There is Nicholas, there is Kateva, there is Maiteki, the sewage man. This man, if there is a sewage overflow, he can go and even lift it. But you see how young he is. So we are not doing badly on that. Then the issue of Ankole times, Kampala water is expanding. Kampala water is expanding, and the current plans we have are really measuring to the velocity of expansion. Because as they have told you, we are currently now doing this project, and we already have plans in the pipeline to expand Katosi from 160 million liters of water per day to 240. The plans are already on, securing financing for that. And once that is got, we also have plans to expand the pipelines in areas, now not network strengthening, but network expansion, so that we can be able to match up with increased population. And when maybe we shall not be here, other people will be bringing in successor plans to match with population at that time. Then how many hours of service can we commit ourselves to? I refer you to www.nwc.co, I think, .ug. There is a customer charter there. When you see a customer charter, it will tell you exactly what our promise is to the customers. And if you study it, if you really understand the work of a customer charter, you will see that that's what we promise the customers and what we expect from the customers. And to the best of my knowledge, maybe Johnson, you can explain what is the service reliability in our customer charter.
Okay. Sorry. Our standard is 18 hours in a day. That is our minimum. Average service coverage, the reliability time. But our interest is to make sure that you get water 24/7. Of course, in in the city of Kampala, there are places where that minimum is not being achieved because we might be having 6 hours or even 2 hours. And that's why we have these projects. But our promise to our customers across Uganda is that you should be able to receive water 18 hours in a day. That's our promise. And if we fall short of that, that informs the measures we need to put in place to improve that. Yeah.
And if we don't achieve as promised, first of all, we are working very hard to achieve as promised. If we don't achieve as promised, we shall have a reason why we have not achieved. And it will not be because we are lazy, but maybe because there were situations above. Those who visited the site, you already have some reasons. Sometimes you can be expecting that a pipe will pass here, and when you reach there, it cannot pass. And where you want to pass it, it takes you ages. And I think all of you know that the land tenure system here does not favor smooth implementation of projects. And especially this project which is going on is facing some significant challenges because of physical planning issues and land tenure system. There's when you reach somewhere and somebody says, if you don't give me 3 billion, you will not pass a pipe here. And the law is on his side. You cannot just pass. And that can cause you significant delays. When we are laying this pipeline from Kagera to Mbarara, we had a challenge in Isinjiro town. We spent a whole year to pass a pipe there. It took us a whole year. Why? Because they told us in order to pass a pipe there was a road which they were doing. They need 1.2 billion, 1.3 actually. And we said, no, this can't be possible. They said, no, that is what it is. We had to involve some security agencies, and eventually we were able to pass a pipe at 600 million. But that happened after a long struggle, very painful. And there are so many incidences which were like that. In Katete, in Mbarara, there was a pipe which was going to the tank, and the guys, we wanted to pass the pipe in the middle of the road because this is a pipe which will never burst from my experience. So even if you pass it in the middle of the road, it becomes part and parcel of the what? Of the road. There was a resistance that we have to shift it to demolish people's houses. Demolishing people's houses required about 3 to 4 billion. We said no. Now, for us to be able to pass eventually the pipe passed in the middle of the road. But to secure that decision took us about 6 months. So some of these things come, they are challenges we face, but they are things we can explain in a very transparent way.
Okay, thank you. We should be wrapping up now. We don't have any more questions. Maybe closing remarks.
I think we shall close here. And since I said Susan is my OB, I will request you to maybe to allow her to move a vote of thanks. Yes. I don't know if she would be able to speak with her mask, but before you do that, I want to sincerely thank all of you. Thank you very, very, very much for accepting to come. And I want to make arrangements with my people that every quarter we should have this engagement. Every quarter we have this engagement, and we bring you on board on what the corporation is doing, and we manage these promises we have made to you, because at that point, we should be able to report better results than what we have, so that you see how this institution of yours is making progress. And I want to thank my colleagues, the General Manager Kampala, who moved with you in the field, and the project team, the Fisher and the Sama Pedel, the PR team, who collaborated with you on this, and my colleague Johnson and Edmund, who came in almost at the last minute, but they were able to do a good job in eliminating some of the work we are doing for common understanding. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Susan, I'd like to invite you to come and give us a vote of thanks.
Silver always has a way of reminding everyone that we're at university together. But first of all, I want to thank you, MD, and your team, Sam and John, for organizing this media roundtable. I think if all public institutions did something similar like this, it would go a long way in out the misinformation and the disinformation that we see out in the public arena. I also would like, on behalf of the media fraternity here, first of all, to commend you on all the achievements. Of course, as with any public service, there will always be issues because it's service at an individual level. And so I think that is to be expected, because an individual experience, like my sister there who read her bill, it will differ from customer to customer. So I think when you see things like that out in the public arena, I don't think those should scare you, because individual experience will differ. But I think since this is term no sleep, or they say term no more sleep, I think it's really just puts more pressure on you to deliver. But also, like you've said, if these forums are quarterly, then it will go a long way in sorting out disinformation. And to the media fraternity, thank you all for coming out. Let's keep the questions coming, but, and I think also, let's work to see that whatever we put out there, it is really meant to see that, as the theme of this thing is, in terms of driving social and economic transformation in Uganda, that we now know all the people that are on the team. Let's give them questions if there are queries. Let's sort out those queries, and then together we see that we can transform Uganda. So thank you very much, and happy cocktail.
Thank you. We will sign out with the national anthems. After that, there is a cocktail in the garden. We shall continue networking. If there are any questions, you can submit them to us. We'll be happy to respond to them. Let's stand up for the national anthems. In reverse order.
Afrika Mashariki, tuwezeshe kuishi kwa amani, tutimie na malengo yetu, jumuiya yetu sote tuwajibike, umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya.
Thank you.